So it sounds like you're really trying to figure out why your dog is so destructive, and we're here to help you understand that a little better. Today we're taking a deep dive into dog psychology with an expert and with this great article
Yeah.
from OmiDog EDU called Destructive Behavior in Dogs. And get ready for some mind-blowing facts. Did you know that a dog's brain, despite its size compared to its body, receives a huge amount of blood flow? Like, just tons.
It's true. It's really fascinating. All that blood flow means their brains are just constantly going, always processing information, even when it seems like they're just kind of relaxing and chilling out. So, when we think about destructive behavior, it's crucial to remember that it's usually a symptom, not like the actual problem. It's their way of saying like, hey, something's not right here.
It's like a signal flare, but instead of fire, it's like a chewed up shoe.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And the article does a great job of explaining that, debunking that myth of the bad dog. They're not trying to be destructive. They're reacting to their
What are
environment,
you trying to communicate with?
about their needs.
Okay, so no more labeling our furry friends as bad. But if it's a communication issue, what are they trying to tell us?
Often, it boils down to some pretty basic things. Boredom, frustration, or some unmet need. Think about it from their perspective. They've got all this energy, all this mental energy, with no constructive outlet for it.
Like a high-powered engine idling in neutral.
Yes, exactly. And that's where the article's emphasis on structure comes in. Dogs, much like their ancestors who lived in packs, thrive on routine. They love predictability. It really helps reduce anxiety because they know what to expect.
So you're not just talking about a feeding schedule, you're talking about like a whole lifestyle structure.
That's exactly right. Consistent walks, designated playtime, regular training sessions, even puzzle toys. All of these elements create that framework that helps them feel grounded.
That makes so much sense. I was thinking about my own approach to playtime. I used to think that just leaving toys around was good enough. But reading this article, it made me realize that's not the same as structured play, like really engaging play.
You're so right. It's a really crucial point. Simply having toys doesn't really challenge them mentally the way that focused play or training does.
So how can we make walks more than just bathroom breaks? The article highlights how important they are, but I'm curious to hear more about why that is.
Walks are like a sensory explosion for dogs. Every sniff, every sound, every sight, it stimulates their brain. It's like their version of reading a book or exploring a new city. All these new experiences keep them engaged and help them stay mentally sharp.
And it's not just about the senses, right? There's also the social aspect of walks.
Absolutely. Even if they're not directly interacting with other dogs, they're watching, they're taking in information, and they're learning about their world. It's so important for their social development.
This is making me rethink my own dog's walk routine. I tend to stick to the same route, but maybe some variety would do him some good.
It's amazing to think. What if you explored a new park, or took a different path through the neighborhood, or even just changed the time of day you usually go for your walk?
Those are all great ideas. I'm starting to see walks as these little mini adventures.
That's exactly what they are, little mini adventures that can really enrich your dog's life. And that actually brings us to this key concept in the article, this idea of mental gymnastics. It's not just about tiring them out physically. It's about challenging their minds, giving them a sense of purpose.
So it's not just about how much exercise they get, but the quality of that exercise.
You got it. A tired dog is a good dog. But a tired and mentally stimulated dog, that's a happy dog, a well-adjusted dog. Think of it as giving them a job to do, like a challenge to overcome.
This makes me realize that I've probably underestimated the power of mental stimulation.
A lot of people do.
It's fascinating to think about all the different ways that we can challenge their minds.
And that's where those puzzle toys come in. They're not just for fun. They're really engaging your dog's cognitive muscles.
It's like giving them their own version of Sudoku, a little mental workout to keep their minds sharp. The article also mentions teaching tricks too. It's amazing to watch how excited they get when they finally master something new.
It is. It's so rewarding.
Yeah.
For both of you. And it builds that bond between you. So tell me, have you ever considered the different types of puzzle toys and how they might benefit your dog?
I'll admit I really haven't. I haven't thought much beyond those basic treat dispensing toys.
Oh, there's a whole world of puzzle toys out there. Some focus on problem solving, others on dexterity, some even encourage teamwork.
Wow, I had no idea.
It's true.
It sounds like choosing the right puzzle toy can be just as important as choosing the right physical activity.
Absolutely. And that leads us to another crucial point, this idea of understanding your dog's individual needs. Just like humans, dogs aren't one size fits all.
So we can't just apply like a generic solution and expect it to work for every dog.
You got it. Every dog is different. Breed, age, health, temperament. All of these play a role in how much exercise and mental stimulation they need, and what kinds of activities will be best for them.
So for our listener out there, think about what makes your dog unique. Are they a high-energy breed that needs a ton of physical activity? Or are they a little older and might need gentler walks and more puzzle toys?
Exactly.
These are important questions to ask if you want to understand their behavior. But even after we've adjusted their routine and we've tried to give them more stimulation, sometimes that destructive behavior just keeps happening.
That's true.
And I think that's when it might be time to think about bringing in some professional help.
You're right. Because sometimes there could be something else going on, like a medical condition or a more complex behavioral issue. That needs a professional to really figure out.
So if you've tried everything you can think of and you're still struggling, don't hesitate to reach out to a vet or a certified dog behaviorist.
They can really help you get to the root of the problem and come up with a plan that's right for your dog.
Okay, so before we dive into that too deeply, let's take a minute to think about what we've talked about so far. What's standing out to you?
I think what's really striking me is how important mental enrichment is for dogs. We think about tiring them out, but we don't always think about engaging their minds and really tapping into how intelligent they are.
I know. It's like we've been so focused on their bodies that we've kind of neglected their minds. This article has been a real eye-opener for me.
Me too. And speaking of engaging their minds, let's talk about those different types of puzzle toys again. I think there's so much more to them than a lot of people realize.
Yeah, you mentioned puzzle toys that encourage teamwork, and I'm really curious about that.
Oh yeah, some puzzle toys. They're actually designed for two dogs to work together. So they have to cooperate to figure out how to get the treats.
That's so cool. I could totally see my two dogs either working together to solve it, or maybe just trying to outsmart each other.
Right. Either way, it's a win-win. And then there are puzzle toys that focus on dexterity. Like they're designed so your dog has to use their paws to manipulate levers or buttons or compartments to get the treats out.
It's like a little obstacle course for their brains. So choosing the right puzzle toy, it sounds like it's kind of an art form in itself.
It can be. There's so many options.
So what advice would you give our listener when they're trying to choose a puzzle toy?
I would say start with your dog's personality and their skill level. If they're new to puzzle toys, give them something simple. And as they get better at it, you can slowly make it more challenging. And don't be afraid to get creative. Sometimes the best puzzles are the ones you make yourself.
I love that. It's like using things around the house to create a scavenger hunt for treats.
Exactly.
But beyond puzzle toys, the article also talks about how important training is as a form of mental stimulation.
Yeah, training is so important. It's a great way to engage their minds. But it also helps you build that bond with your dog. And it gives them a sense of purpose. It's about more than just teaching them commands. It's about learning to communicate with each other.
It's about understanding each other.
Yes, exactly. And for a dog, it can be so empowering to learn a new skill. It boosts their confidence and strengthens their connection with you.
I've definitely noticed that with my own dog. He gets so proud of himself when he learns a new trick.
It's the best. You can just see it in their eyes. They're like, look what I can do.
Exactly.
And, that makes me think about walks again. We talked about the sensory benefits, but it's also so important for their well-being, just in general.
Okay. I'm ready for another deep dive into dog walks.
Well, we've talked about the sensory stimulation and the social aspect, but have we talked about how much freedom it gives them? For a dog, a walk, it's their chance to explore, to sniff around, to choose where they want to go, what they want to investigate.
It's their little dose of independence.
And that's a great way to put it. It's like letting them choose their own adventure.
Exactly.
And that can make a big difference for their emotional well-being.
I'm realizing now that maybe I haven't been giving my dog enough freedom on our walks. I tend to just stick to our route, but maybe I should let him sniff and explore more.
It's all about finding the balance. You're still the leader, but you want to give him some space to make choices, to be curious.
It's amazing to think that even small changes in the way we approach walks can make such a difference for them.
They can?
But as we've been talking about, every dog is different.
Yes, they are.
And understanding their individual needs is so important.
It really is.
So for our listener, let's think about your dog. What breed are they? How much energy do they have? Are they a working breed? that needs lots of mental and physical challenges.
Or are they a more laid-back breed that
Yeah,
might just need a calmer routine?
exactly.
And think about their age, too. A senior dog won't need the same amount of activity as a puppy, but they still need mental stimulation to stay happy and healthy.
It's all about tailoring our approach to their specific needs and personality, but like we said earlier, sometimes we try our best, and the destructive behavior just doesn't stop.
You're right.
And that's when it's important to remember that there are professionals out there who can help.
Exactly. We don't have to do this alone.
So let's talk about that. What kind of professional help is available, and when should we consider reaching out?
Yeah, it's good to know that we're not alone in this, that there are people who can help us. So what kinds of professionals can we turn to if we need some extra help?
Well, when it comes to destructive behavior, there are two main types of professionals who can really help: veterinarians and certified dog behaviorists. Vets are a great place to start because they can check to make sure that there isn't some kind of medical reason for the behavior. That's a good point. I guess sometimes what seems like a behavioral issue might actually be caused by something physical.
Exactly. Like, let's say your dog suddenly starts chewing on everything. It could be that they have a toothache, or maybe they're not getting the right nutrients in their diet. Once the vet has ruled out any medical problems, then you can talk to a certified dog behaviorist. They can help you figure out what's going on and come up with a plan to change the behavior.
So the vet focuses on the physical stuff, and the behaviorist focuses on the behavioral side of things. What kind of training does a dog behaviorist have?
Certified dog behaviorists. They have a lot of education and experience in animal behavior, learning theory, and behavior modification techniques. They can really help you understand why your dog is being destructive, whether it's anxiety, boredom, lack of training, or something else entirely.
So they're like the detectives of the dog world.
I like that.
They put all the pieces together to figure out why the dog is acting that way.
Exactly. They'll watch your dog. They'll ask you questions about your dog, and then they'll use all that information to create a plan that's specifically for your dog. This might include things like changing things in your dog's environment, teaching them to associate good things with the things that used to make them anxious, and teaching them new behaviors that are better than the destructive ones.
So they're kind of like creating a roadmap to help the dog and the owner understand each other better.
That's a great way to put it. The goal is to help you have a better relationship with your dog.
This whole deep dive has really given me so many new ideas for how to make my dog's life more enriching.
I'm so glad.
We've talked about structure, walks, puzzle toys, training. It's like I have a whole new toolkit now.
And the best part is, you don't have to do everything at once. Just pick one or two things that you think will work for you and your dog. And start there. Consistency is key.
That makes sense. It's not about making these huge changes. It's about making small changes consistently.
Exactly.
So for our listener, who's dealing with a destructive dog, what's the one piece of advice that you would give them?
I would say, be patient, pay attention to your dog, and most importantly, have fun. It's a journey. Building a strong bond with your dog, there will be ups and downs, but it's so rewarding.
That's a great way to put it. It's about enjoying the process and celebrating those moments when things finally click for both you and your dog. So as we wrap up this deep dive, just remember, destructive behavior is often your dog's way of trying to tell you something by understanding what they need and giving them the right outlets for their energy and their intelligence. You can make both of your lives so much happier.
Absolutely. And if you're struggling, don't be afraid to ask for help. Vets and behaviorists are there to help you.
That's so important to remember. You're not alone in this. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of dog psychology.